Brad, how disappointing is the second half with 14 goals?
Sorry, mate, I can't hear you.
How disappointing was the second half from your perspective, just getting to 14 goals and the scoreless last quarter just to fade out, I guess? Just how was that? How do you see that?
Yeah, I thought the whole game was disappointing. I mean, we fought, I thought back at the start of the second half, and we weren't able to follow that through. But, you know, the way the game, I mean, the scoreboard obviously says what it says. It's not someone's opinion. It is what it is. It's the but when you concede 107 points from intercepts and 72 of those in your back half, and you just give the ball back to a very well-drilled, well-organised team, they make you pay. And so, you know, that's what, you know, that's the big difference. I think a contest stoppage, you know, we battled on pretty well, but both ahead of the ball and behind the ball, they were far superior.
What do you put those defensive half turnovers down to ultimately? Because just like giving up quite a lot of them and hard to cope with their pressure, what do you put that down to?
I think if you look at them, there's a combination of their very good pressure. We kicked the ball straight to them on quite a number of occasions. In the start of the game, I think, you know, it felt like of their first 6 goals, we gave them 4 on a silver platter. So, and part of that is because we certainly wanted to come out and compete and not just sit back and wait for Geelong to overwhelm us, and that backfired a bit because we took some options that just weren't there, and to their credit, they were able to turn it over.
First quarters, I think the last month or 5 games, you've been low scoring. Opposition's generally done pretty well. Is there anything you can put it down to, the slow starts?
Well, I mean, it becomes a trend after 3 weeks in a row, but they're for different reasons in my view. You know, they're you know, I thought we gave ourselves opportunity at the start of the game, but as I said, I think I don't know what the exact number is, but I think we handed them, you know, whether, you know, just one free kick straight back in, you know, Neil marks one, Cameron marks one, you know, we turn 2 over, and there's, you know, 4 or 5 goals really quickly.
Did you have enough patches in the game where you could feel as though you could take enough positives out of it? I mean, you seemed you know, willing to take the game on, particularly in that first half, the boys, even though they're a young team.
Oh yeah, I mean, we'll learn. It's a harsh lesson to learn, but I think it's a good one. It's one you don't want to have to learn. You'd prefer just to move past experiences like that. But you know, we look around the ground and you know, 2 debutants, recasting a ruckman who's never played in defence up until last week in the VFL. You know, just due to the circumstances that we're in, that we, you know, it's when you look forward and Shannon Neal and Jeremy Cameron, and you know, they're sitting there. We can't go in with Jayden Laverty as our only key defender, as we did last week. So, you know, there's some challenges in that part, but we didn't want to go into the game thinking, well, we just got to mitigate, you know, what Geelong are really good at. I've been really proud of our boys and our club the previous 2 weeks in terms of going out and really taking on the opposition and setting up to win the game. And we set that up again today. Now, we clearly didn't execute that, and you know, we got exposed on turnover time and time again. But you know, we'll frame this as an opportunity to continue to get better. And clearly, there's a big gap, even with us at full strength. There's a big gap between where Geelong are and where we are. But probably I've got a frustrated coaching group because it's hard to coach skill errors on game day. But that's why we're here. You know, we're here to get better throughout the week, to keep improving our skill level, our decision making. But when you've got a team with 2 first gamers, I think a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth, you know, and whatever it is with youth, that's what I get excited about, coaching that. But you're coming up against the most organised, best drilled, experienced team in the competition, in my view. And they taught us a lesson, and we're going to learn it.
A couple of those young small defenders, I know you were outpointed a fair bit by the Keys, but a couple of those young small defenders really stuck to their task tonight.
Yeah, we've got enormous optimism about players like Archie Roberts, Angus Clark, Zach Johnson. They're in the infancy of their career. Both Johnson, Clark in their first year. Roberts in his second year, and we're looking to those guys quite literally, to help lead our defence. I thought Jaden Laverty had a massive task today on multiple players, but he's I've been really impressed with the way he's been able to lead our young boys under a significant amount of duress back there.
Brad, Will Setterfield today, he was a positive for you. His last few weeks have been really building. He's a player that can take you forward with the form that he's currently in.
Yeah, Setter's been terrific the last couple of weeks. Certainly his hands full tonight. Bailey Smith and Max Holmes were very, very good, and I thought Setter's chase of Max Holmes sort of epitomised the effort that he brings. But yeah, it was even though the numbers around the contest and stoppage looked okay from it, it was a turnover game for us. I mean, Geelong clearly outpointed us in that part of the game. But no, Setters was important, but I still thought we got, it's a bit unlike us. We had, we didn't convert first possession to clearance like we usually do.
Yeah, but in the third term, at the start of that, you actually started to, when you got those 5 goals, like you started to get a little bit more overlap run, and that showed with your method changing.
Yeah, and that was, we were trying to build that throughout the game. And when it worked for us, it looked good, but unfortunately for us right at the moment, in this game anyway, I don't think it's every game this year, but the game turned into, unfortunately, a bit of we execute and score, but if we don't, they score, and we don't want the game to look like that. We want to be able to defend turnover better than we did tonight, but some of the parts of the ground where we turn the ball over, it's pretty hard to defend.
How do you get that from a coaching point of view? How do you get that balance between wanting to take the game on and picking off those options, and then sort of, I guess, not turning it over in dangerous spots? You've got to get that balance, because otherwise, I suppose, you lurch too far into one side or into the other. Yeah.
Oh, look, we got the balance wrong tonight. We were taking options that weren't there, but again, this is what I think. Geelong again, clearly the best drill team in the competition. Dangerfield, Stengel, their ability to, options look like they're on and then they're not. I thought their reaction to defend was exceptional. And the lesson for our guys is that it's that's if you can defend like that, that's the best way of scoring. And as I said, 107 points from intercepts, and 72 of those points came in our back half.
Is it a good thing that you've got the tight turnaround heading to Perth?
Sorry?
Is it a good thing now that you've got the tight turnaround? It can be a good thing, it can be a bad thing after a loss like this,
Yeah, well, we're pretty keen to get stuck into it, that's for sure. Look, and we'll just keep got this attitude, and while it's not much fun, but this is what coaching is. I mean, if you're sort of sitting back just moving the chess pieces, that's clearly not what we're doing at the moment. We're trying to educate the chess pieces where to go, and that's what we've got to get excited about as a coaching group. And I'm step back tonight without doubt, but the previous 2 weeks I think has shown that there's enough fight and there's enough capability within this group, and we'll never concede. We'll be frustrated, disappointed, but keep coaching, keep working with them, and I've seen enough intestinal fortitude to suggest that there's reasons to be optimistic about the future, albeit it doesn't feel like that right now.
Just in terms of, it looks like injury-wise, it's not a heap that you'll be able to get back as yet. What levers can you sort of pull? Is just waiting on VFL tonight, really?
Yeah. I think we've got a dual challenge there. I don't think we're going to get many back in the short term. It's only 5 days till we play again. So, but then we've also got a bit of a challenge in terms of, you don't bring 8 guys back all at once either. I wouldn't have thought so. But the positive in that is, we've exposed players to AFL footy that wouldn't have played otherwise, and there are some of those young boys that I don't think will go out of our team for a long time.
you've got
regardless of who comes back.
Sorry, you got a clean bill of health out of tonight at least.
Yep, no injuries.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.